Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Unexplained Absence. For 3 colorless and 1 white, it's an instant that says for each player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller cloaks the top card of their library. To cloak a card, put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature with Ward 2, turn it face up at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. So there's a lot of things to love about this card. It's a 4 mana remove 3 or sometimes remove 4, which we'll talk about in a second, but that's a very powerful ability. It has excellent wording because it exiles and it targets any non-land permanent, which of course is very strong. You can get anything you need to remove right on the spot. It's a lot like Windgrace's Judgment, which is a very powerful effect. Of course, that one costs 1 mana more and is in black and green, so this being only in white gives it so much more potential to be played in a wide variety of decks. But of course, there does have to be a downside because it's cheaper and easier to cast. However, the downside isn't really that bad most of the time. You're getting something like a Chaos Warp kind of effect, but much less risky for the most part. So around 50% of the time, you're just going to be giving them a 2/2 with Ward. That's whatever, comparable to Generous Gift, which costs 3 mana all by itself. There are going to be some situations where they can then flip over the creature, but then you also have to account for the fact that they're spending that mana, that they don't get any enter the battlefield effects, and stuff like that. So there's quite a few creatures that aren't going to be that good when you get to flip them over, which means that those also aren't much of a downside for this card. To that, we have to add that sometimes hitting a card that an opponent really needs that might be a combo piece, such as an enchantment or an instant, can really screw over their plans. Of course, you can't really control this, it's random, but it is nice when that is going to occasionally happen. So to me, this downside seems a lot less severe than something like Chaos Warp or Generous Gift even. And those two downsides are stuff that Magic players have decided they are totally fine with having in exchange for the flexibility that those cards provide. But there's one aspect of this card that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the fact that you can also target your own things with this. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First, if you're playing a cloak deck or a deck that's based around Morph, this is incredibly powerful if somebody goes to remove one of your creatures, because you can just pull the trigger on this to exile that creature and replace it for a different creature, and in the meantime, you're going to get to deal with 3 of your opponent's things. But you don't actually need to be in a Morph deck at all. If you're in a heavy creature deck, this is going to let you replace something that was going to die anyway to targeted removal with something else. It might even be a creature that you can use later, but even if it's just a random body, it's still better than losing your permanent for no value whatsoever. So all of this together means that this card has a ton of flexibility. It's very nice removal that is going to exile and deal with stuff permanently, that can also randomly have some upside sometimes for you. So I'm really high on this one, and I'm going to be putting it into a lot of my white decks. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.